Oh baby, if you are a drama queen who hates to see a bland bathroom, then this is the episode for you. Ooh. Welcome back to Laugh Cry DIY. I am your host, Katie, and we are standing in my basic, boring bathroom. Now, I am lucky that this bathroom is a decent size. We have a great little bath alcove that separates the bath from the toilet. We have a cute little pedestal sink. But this bathroom has been unlucky in that a few weeks ago we had a major moment of hell because I found a leak and we had to tear a bunch of stuff down. But now she is painted, she is primed, and she is ready for her glamorous transformation. If you've never watched my channel before, you should know I love color, I love pattern, I love drama, and we're going to do all of that today and more. And I'm not gonna lie, it's taken us a long time to get here. Because like many of you, I moved in and I was just so indecisive about what to actually do with this space. The theme for my new apartment is very like oasis, Hollywood regency, maximalist glamour. I had no ideas, I had a billion ideas. And then in my search for inspiration, I stumbled upon the most gorgeous hotel in Jaipur, India. This is a colorful maximalist haven. It has a lot of Rajasthani kind of painting. It's color, it's pattern, it's everything. And I loved the idea of a sort of beautiful oasis boutique hotel. Now, when most girls say they want to turn their bathroom into a boutique hotel, they mean everything white and spa-like, and I mean I want to live in an Indian palace. So today we're going to do a glamorous transformation with a lot of hand painting, pray for me, and we're going to see if I can in fact turn this boring space into a fun oasis. But first, let me point out a bunch of moment of hells in this bathroom that we are going to need to come up with clever ways to design around. Number one, a gray linoleum floor, which if you know me, you know that gray is my mortal enemy and she has been laughing at me this whole time. Number two, this awful matching gray rubber baseboard, which is really, really wide, and I really just can't do anything about because we are in a rental. Number three, eyesore, heater, and outlet. These are disruptive to the symmetry of the room and we need to figure out clever ways to deal with them. And lastly, more anchor plugs than I know what to do with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But back to my mortal enemy, the floor. So I immediately knew I wanted to change the floor when I moved in, but a lot of the traditional peel and stick options are very limited. And I was really struggling to find a pattern or a color or something that just really spoke to me. And then I found these beautiful mint checkerboard tile stickers from Blue Coin. These are so bright and airy. I loved the gorgeous color of the mint. It felt really soothing. And if I'm lounging in the bath, I would love to be just sort of absorbed by the color mint. I also knew it would really brighten up the room to have a lighter floor. And these go on well, they stay waterproof, and they peel up really easily. That said, moment of honesty. Today, we're going to use these not in their intended way, not as the manufacturer said. You're meant to put them over existing tiles, but I'm gonna put them straight on the linoleum. Scandalous. I've used these before on tiles I had in my house. I had those tile stickers down for 4 years and they peeled up with no residue. So big fan of Blue Coin for that, and they have a ton of designs. And let me tell you why I chose this checkerboard flooring. Number one, it's a really traditional kind of classic, kind of sophisticated pattern. Secondly, I wanted a nice big pop of pattern right when you walk in. Thirdly, this color palette is really light and soothing, so it'll really brighten up the room. And again, because I wanted it to feel relaxing but kind of glamorous, doing this mint color makes it really feel like you're stepping into like a beautiful kind of like candy box or something. And now party people, it is time to get all of these stickers, ASMR, on the floor. So I already mopped, but I'm just doing one final wipe down of the floor to make sure it's as clean as possible. So, if I didn't mention before, we are going to lay these down, not checkerboard style, but harlequin style, which is where it's kind of a diamond shape as opposed to the kind of classic barbershop checkerboard floor. Doing it this way makes it visually feel a little bit bigger, but because this is such a precise, clean kind of geometric pattern, we want to make sure that it follows some nice eye lines. So we're going to make sure that that center point goes straight down the middle of the room, and then we're going to paper out from that, if that makes sense. So I'm first going to use this level ruler to identify what the middle point is of this. This is 48 inches, so I'm going to go to 24. And I'm just gonna tape a little painter's tape down there. Okay, next up, laser level. Ooh, you guys see it? I have the laser level pointed there and it's going straight through the point of my painter's tape. Now I can lay my first diamond and hopefully this should end up pretty straight by the end. So we can switch. Last time. You can see there is a seam here. You will have to decide if you want the tiniest little gap in that seam because you want them to butt up against each other, or if you want them to slightly overlap. I don't mind if they slightly overlap, and honestly, I don't mind because anything is better than this gray floor to me. All right, and we're starting to fill in these little spaces here. Honestly, I just use leftover pieces to make my templates and do a little light pre-cutting. I'm not worried about being too precise, but just kind of sizing things down a little bit so that it's easier. And I'm just using a little wallpaper smoother and a blade to cut that out. Perfect. So actually, let's see if the manager has any thoughts. Is that a fly? Did you get it? Classic. Guys, I wish I had any like brilliant tips for this, but it's just a lot of cutting, trimming, tracing, getting these funky spots. But already, do you see the vision? Okay guys, so the rest of this is just little Frankenstein bits around the toilet. And you can see here, I kind of just patchworked everything in as best I could. Okay guys, floor is done. It looks amazing, instantly brighter. And I would say we're done, but we're absolutely not. Because now we are going to do the most exciting and the worst part of this. Guys, this whole project is so much math. I really hate myself for having these ideas, but I have to follow the muse. So because we have this beautiful crisp checkerboard floor, I want to combine things that are kind of both like sophisticated and elegant, and then also kind of the like cool boho element of the hand-painted Indian motifs. And I didn't want to spend $1 million on wallpaper, and we're in the bathroom, so it's not always the most practical. So we're gonna have to do it with paint. And one effect I really like is trompe-l'oeil, where you paint something to look fake like it's something else. And today I'm specifically talking about wall paneling. So here's the idea. We're gonna paint wall paneling all around the room. And as I mentioned before, we have this ugly rubber gray trim, and I want people to not notice it. I want them to look up at the walls and hey, even the ceiling. So I have this idea to tape off all of this faux wall paneling, and then we can play within it. Is anything I'm saying making sense? I don't know. I'm crazy and we still got a lot to go. Now, if I'm honest, the taping will be pretty easy, but figuring out what to tape is gonna be a pain because I still can't decide on my measurements and design. So what I do have here is this cute little chalk, and I'm gonna lightly chalk out the idea before we tape it off. So I'm getting my beautiful 4-foot level Patti LaBelle, as we call her on the channel, and we're just gonna play around with some things. No, guys, this is gonna take so long. I'm gonna be back when I figure it out. So this effect looks best if it's really nice and pretty and symmetrical, but that is not working out. Let's go over the problems. Okay, so obviously we have this bath sink area, and we don't want the wall paneling to like cut off in a weird way halfway through, right? We also have this window. Every other part of this alcove is a different dimension. So we can't just do like 30-inch wide panels all around. We can't do 28. So my solve instead is just to make sure that major elements like mirror and window are framed. And the rest of it is gonna be a little loosey-goosey. Kitty, thoughts, opinions? Okay, ASMR. All right, guys, what do we love on this channel? A time lapse. Oh, by the way, if you're doing this, make sure you clock which side you're taping on. Like if you're all taping to the left or if you're taping on the inners, for example, I'm taping inside of the line, that can easily throw off your measurement if you need a perfect line. Okay, you guys, it's getting really crazy now. You know why? We're doing the ceiling. And last bit. Okay, I'm gonna go night-night. We'll be back. Okay, so because we have so many harsh, aggressive corners because of all these rectangles, I wanted to introduce a little bit of softness and maybe femininity, I guess, with some beautiful arches. The Mughal architecture style has all these gorgeous arches, and so I wanted to kind of do my own version. So I went ahead and grabbed some cardboard, traced out a template, cut that out, and here we have our little arch, which we're gonna add in different spots. And now we are going to hand sketch in some illustration. Completely off screen, love it. All right, you guys, we are so close to painting, but we do need to ensure that we have the crispest lines possible. So I'm gonna do my classic trick. I do this in many videos. You go over your tape with the base color. That seals the edges. All right, guys, after a mere 15 hours of labor, we are finally ready to paint, and I'm finally ready to show you the color. The actual floor tiles are slightly modeled, so they are mostly a darker kind of mint and then a lighter. I color matched to the lighter because I know how intense it's gonna be. So I actually tried to go as light as possible while still having a little bit of contrast with the white. We're gonna do an easy hack to make this a little less messy. You just tape a little V, and then it is time for super sexy, exciting pour time. Guys, it looks like pistachio ice cream to me. And the irony, you guys, is that it will take days for me to paint this, but when I actually have to move and just paint it back to white, it will take approximately like 2 hours. Let's do it. I hate this project. One of my most insane, most labor intensive. I think it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna come out the way I want it to, but right now, this is way too much freaking work. Kitty, thoughts? Okay guys, we're slowly working through second coat, and I just wanted to point out to you how easy it is to wipe off the chalk. ASMR. All right guys, this has been a lot of paint, a lot of touch-ups. I still have more to do, but I am finished doing the main painting, and now it is time for everybody's favorite sexy, sexy time, which is tape pulling. Oh, baby. Ooh. Also, we are pulling this while that second coat is still wet, because if you let it dry, sometimes you can peel up all the paint with it. Folks, we like to keep it real on this channel. This was rebuilt, it was primed, but it was not base coated. It would appear on this particular wall. And so what happened? Everything peeled off down to the freaking baseboard, whatever. And I think at this point, after, I don't know, how long has it been? 24 hours of labor? I think that's exactly what I want to happen. That's a treat for me. So we'll deal with that later, but just wanted to say that DIY is hell. All right, guys, I have done many coats, and I could keep going and coating forever, but we're gonna stop here. It's as good as it's gonna get. But we still have some eyesores like this outlet, but I am going to camouflage it as much as I can with a paintable outlet cover. We still have the little nails that went in, so I'm gonna do a little second coat over it just to hide the nails as well, because it's all about the littlest details. And we're gonna do the same right here. And I'm just gonna dip right over the nail holes. Ooh la la. Okay, next up, I'm just gonna do a few more cosmetic tweaks. I realized that I don't like how it looks around the toilet, so I'm gonna do a simple fine, thin layer of caulking just to seal that in. And I'm just taking a little damp rag and my finger, and we're just pressing her right in there. Okay, now we're doing the bathtub. And we're wiping. And I know I should close up on that, but I don't want to. We're good. Moving on. Believe it or not, this is a real functioning bathroom. So we do need to add some functional elements for day-to-day life. And so I'm gonna add a storage cabinet here above the toilet, which I'm gonna pretend like I just screwed in. And you will note I did an arch around that as well and tried to keep it centered because I knew this was one of the elements I was gonna need to center. Also, you better believe I forgot to put the backing on this very first drawer, and there's no way to go back now, so we're living with it. For the record, I know not everybody can install a shelf, but I find the over-the-toilet storage solutions often, they make me feel really cramped. So sometimes if you have to do that, I might suggest doing a kind of ladder style where it's really open and kind of leaned against the wall, just so it gives a little bit more airiness, if that's relevant to you. Next up, if you can, if possible in your life, it is so convenient to have a really close hook for a towel and or a bathrobe. And of course, I wanted to keep my beautiful Indian oasis theme going because we have the plants and now we need to introduce some wildlife in the form of this stunning antique peacock hook. But guess what, guys? She's not actually antique. And this is not her actual coloring. This insane bright gold foil is actually her color. And I know when people are buying gold or like faux brass items, one of the biggest complaints is that they look chintzy because the color doesn't look real. So I want to clue you guys into the best hack to faux antique, something like this that has a lot of detail. So I actually got 2 of these hooks. First thing is you spray paint it all black. Then you can do gold spray paint as your top layer, or I did gilding wax and I just rubbed that all over to make the details really pop. That way you get that aged patina look and you don't have to wait 50 years to get it. And I'm adding her sister as a little hand towel hook. I'm also adding this back of the door hook. I did also hit this with my gilding wax just to make it a little bit lighter to match the other hooks a little bit better. I will link my gilding wax below, it's my fave. I also added a little brass toilet paper holder as well. Oh, by the way, do you guys know this trick? If you wanna make your toilet paper look fancy, you just do a little press right on a damp faucet. And then it looks like it has a cute little seal. All right, next up, we're dealing with our shower curtain area. And we are gonna do a fun, cool, sneaky little hack to make this feel a little bit more glamorous. Because I'm not gonna do 1 shower rod, I'm gonna do 2. So I have a gold rod, ooh. And for functionality, we're gonna do a standard size shower curtain liner at a standard shower curtain height. Wow, revolutionary. Okay, I'm trying to find the right angle to show you this. So if you will recall, we are trying to get our eyes up, off the floor, away from the ugly gray baseboards that I want to forget about. I want it to feel grand and dazzling. And one of the coolest ways to heighten a room is to put your curtains as high as possible, including shower curtains. So basically, I wanted this alcove to feel like I was sort of luxuriating and soaking in a tent. So I wanted to add a second layer of curtains to give that effect. Ready? Ooh, white curtains with a little yellow trim. We're gonna hang these as high as possible. And then we're gonna keep them open like this. Okay, welcome to Katie's Curtain Corner, where I'm gonna tell you everything about these curtains. They are not real shower curtains. Most shower curtains do not come in that extended length. So if you're gonna do the tall shower curtain trick, you gotta use oftentimes regular curtains, but you just wanna make sure you have a real waterproof liner underneath. Additionally, these are really for show. They are not for function. In fact, I intend to kind of keep them open all the time and just use the liner in between. Also, these curtains were so frustrating to find because they don't actually exist. So basically, I knew that I wanted to introduce a tiny little beep accent color, and I really liked this little pop of yellow, but I wanted it to feel very like crisp and clean still. So I just sourced regular curtains, and then I bought this extra wide yellow rickrack trim, and I'm too lazy to sew, so I actually just used regular Gorilla fabric glue to glue them on. And guess what? I did not have enough trim, so I only did the interiors because I knew those were the parts that would show and the rest would be tucked away in the corner. I also just really like the little kind of zigzag scallop edge to kind of soften things and add like a fun little textural detail, but without being overwhelming. So that was a fun little hack. And I did all that because what I had in mind did not exist. So again, don't be tied to reality, make your own reality. Now in a dream world, it would not have these grommets. I would like to do like curtain clips instead, but you can't have everything in life. However, I did use the hack of using that same gilding wax to turn the silver grommets a little bit more gold, just so that we have a little more cohesion. That said, a PSA about doing this type of setup. So any bath shower area needs a lot of ventilation so that mold doesn't collect and it doesn't like mess up your paint and stuff. So you do need that steam to come out. And this is why I'm doing the 2-tier system, so that even when bathing or showering, that steam has a way to get out. But again, I do really recommend doing this because it makes your room feel so much taller and so much more glamorous. And now we need to drape these elegantly. Now, ideally you'd want really glamorous curtain tiebacks here, but the truth is that these are single panel. They're actually not very voluminous, so it would kind of be overkill to have a really large thing right there. And I kind of just want to make them subtly sort of swag. So I'm just taking a little classic command hook. I'm just gonna pop that there. I'm actually just also using the same trim. I also sewed a little like hook on to kind of keep it lightly hooked in because it's a little bit funky. Okay, so I actually added a little extra length to both sides, but you can see the vision, right? They're kind of like swoopy swoop. And the cool thing is like you can tuck the inner liner all the way behind because it's really thin. But we are not done with our curtaining, because we have these blinds. And I was considering keeping them. I wasn't sure. I didn't want to take all this down and patch and have to re-put it up. But once I saw the curtains, I really was like, oh, I think we need to do a matching situation. So I came up with a very clever way to use this infrastructure, but switch it up a little bit. Let's blind ourselves. Ah! Made a little cafe curtain, and I used little drapery hooks, and that fits right in where the original thing was. Cage her in. Okay, and now I know this lighting's really crazy, but you'll remember we had the over little box thing. So I decided, what if we just make a little valance with the same trim, with the same thing? And literally guys, I just like folded and taped this to hell, but we're just gonna command strip that right over to create a cute little valance. Do you see? This is so cool. All right guys, we're getting down to the final bits. Adding our cute little bath mat, which clearly inspired the trim on the curtains. Oh, also, I just realized there's one thing I never talked about in this whole makeover, which is this light. This is a vintage 1920s, 30s light. You can see it has this cute little floral pattern and it's mint green. So I wasn't planning to change it because the color totally works. Moving on. All right, folks, we're in the home stretch, but we are not done. And in fact, this is the moment I have been waiting for this entire freaking makeover. This is the piece de resistance. This is actually what inspired this entire bathroom. Are you ready? Hold on, she might be shy. Come on. Everybody say hi to Camellia the camel. Guys, let me tell you about the lore of our relationship. So I think like a year and a half ago, a local vintage store posted this exact camel. Stunning Hollywood Regency. She has full regalia. And the minute I saw it, I fell in love. I rushed over immediately and it was already sold. This piece is so rare, particularly this design. When I went online to see if I could find an exact version, the only thing I saw was like one $1,500 piece that had already gone at auction. I tried to move on with my life, but I truly have thought of this piece constantly ever since. And then, like a month and a half ago, when I was having a very, very, very bad day, it popped up on Facebook out of the blue. A guy was clearing out his parents' condo and he put it up for sale. And I rushed immediately into my lover's arms. And the coolest part is that I was totally stuck on what to do with this bathroom. And then once I got her, I knew exactly where I would put her. And I wanted to build a whole oasis around her. So Camellia is my muse, Camellia is my love, and I hope you guys love her as much as I do. But of course, her true purpose in life, oh my gosh, I love you so much, is to be a plant stand. So it is time to bring her to her full destiny. All right, you guys, it has been a journey. It has been so much painting, so much trimming, so much peel and sticking. And now, finally, we are all ready for our final reveal. Well, folks, I think we can agree that there is only one thing left for me to do, and that is to finally take a bath in my beautiful, gorgeous oasis. I'd like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank Camellia. And if you enjoyed any of this, if you found any tips or tricks helpful, please like and subscribe. We're always trying to grow the channel. I also have a newsletter you can sign up for where I send out monthly DIY decor inspiration. Also, if you guys have any relevant tips or tricks or whatever, always feel free to comment them below. I love to learn new stuff. You guys have great ideas too. But for now, it is time for me to say goodbye, good night. I will be sleeping in this forever.